been talking about, and we've been continuing this series, and I'm going to extend it, how to let us help you do life, okay?
Oops.
And that's the lowercase l. And we connect that lowercase l with the uppercase L, which always defines God itself, the divine, infinite intelligence, love itself. And by empowering ourselves to live this greater life, we create consciously and on purpose. And we can create extraordinary experiences in our lives. We have the power to do that. We're going to talk about that this morning, because a lot of us don't know how powerful we really are. I want to make a very important statement. Who we are and the power we wield are extraordinary, perhaps even beyond our comprehension. That's how powerful we are. And we have not been told that, but I'm here to tell all of us that. We are powerful, creative beings, and we can consciously create our lives. Yes. We claim that.
Yeah.
We're going to get into some power positions too, yeah. But even if you don't fully comprehend that, we can align with it and use it. We just have to know what supports our alignment. We want to get into understanding what this even means and what doesn't. So today, we're going to make that distinction very clear. So here's something that I believe is a fact for the good portion of human beings, even human beings who feel that they've been in these new thought teachings for such a long time, they're pretty advanced along. We do not truly understand the nature of who we are. Not fully, can't. And hence our power and source of our power, which is a major factor, because we don't recognize that power, is a major factor in why we fail at things, what looks like failure, where we're not succeeding or manifesting what it is we want to live in this life. So we want to clear that up a little bit today and for the rest of the month. Thus, the place to begin to always understand, the place to begin is right where the level of our understanding is in this moment. It's the only place that we can begin to recognize that infinite potential, that power within us. We must start at exactly where we are and to know that we are conscious beings. To know this, but not to let all the effects and the conditions throw us off course. Off course, okay? And just like we need to understand the operation of our car, of our smartphones, of our computers, of our relationships, for that matter, in order to work in harmony with it. So, do we need to understand source and our relationship to it? We need to deepen into this power for good that we talk about and what our relationship is in it, how we can connect with it and use it for the good in our lives, for creating what we truly want to live consciously, to live with the awareness that we are not just these bodies. They're not the truth of who we are. We are so much more than that. And you heard me say, maybe, we need to understand the source of all creation. And you just heard me say that, but here's the deal. We really can't understand it fully and completely because it is this creative force that is so beyond our comprehension. But to know that, as I said last week, and I got this from our conference in Unity Village, that not that God doesn't have our back, God is our back. God is our everything. God is the very source and supply of everything that we do when we learn to connect with it and truly have that faith. So the most important thing then for us to understand is our relationship to our indwelling being. And it's everywhere. It's indwelling, it's all one. It's a unity. In the Bible, Matthew chapter 6, verse 33 says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all things shall be added unto you." Seek ye first the kingdom. And also the location of the kingdom. Does anyone know where the location of this kingdom is?
Right here.
Go ahead.
In our
It's
mind.
here.
In our mind.
Where is here?
Within us.
Yes, thank you. It's within us. You know, that's why we are powerful beings beyond all description. So let us expand on these words of Jesus, if you don't mind, for a bit. I'm going to take a little bit apart. Seek ye first the kingdom of your true nature as a divine universal being, worthy of all you can dream of, and blessed with all the love and power beyond comprehension. And then from that lofty perspective, that great perspective, that full perspective, we finally start to understand the true power and its source. When we connect with that source within us, that power for good. And from that perspective, all things shall be added unto us when we align with it. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. Yes.
I agree.
That's just a few people got it. All right, we're going to say it again.
Just got it louder.
Seek ye first, we're going to repeat it, to understand your true nature as a divine universal being, worthy of all you can dream of having, blessed with love and power beyond comprehension. And then from that lofty perspective, finally understanding your true power and its source. And then from that perspective, all things will be added here and now.
Amen.
Amen.
So
That power, when we use power, it's to empower ourselves. It's not to have power over anyone else. We're talking about a God-given power. The power of all that is, was, and ever shall be is ours to use when we tune into it, when we learn to go within, because that's where it is. What then is our true nature? That's an important question, a very important question to answer for ourselves. What is my true nature? This is why meditation is so key. And I get these notes from the universe. I know many of you do because I always bring them up. Mike Dooley sends them out, notes from the universe. This one came a while ago, and I saved some of them. He writes this, or he sends this in the email. I know that you know there's more to you than flesh and bone. I know that you know that you're more than what time and space show. And I know that there's a greater self, a greater you out there beyond time and space. Yet I also know there's still some question in your mind as to who, what, and where the other part of you is. Well, I think the time has come to make the introduction. It's me, talking like the universe. And then he ends it, as you were the universe. It's great to get these little paragraphs in the mail, your email. It's really lovely. Just turn it on your smartphone and just connect with it, because it's a reminder of who we truly are. So who are we then? We might end. Maybe some of these will ring true. I love, this is my favorite one of all. The mighty ocean in a drop of water. That's Rumi. We love Rumi, Persian poet. A vehicle, this is who we are, so listen to this. A vehicle of concentrated God stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
The formed expression of the infinite unformed. A singular manifestation of all that is. The point of light in the eternal sun. A perfect creation of the creator of all. And those would all be accurate answers. And there is something that I want to put in is actually as such. It's going to be as such. So I'm going to have you repeat these statements with me or after me. So if you want to do your power position, which, by the way, at our conference was talked about in so many workshops. Power position could be this. We like this. Well, I like this. But you can do this. This is a power. This is opening up your energy field to accept. Okay, repeat this. I am the mighty ocean in a drop of water. I am the mighty ocean in a drop of water. And as such, I have the power of the ocean at my fingertips. I am a vehicle of concentrated God stuff. And as such, I have the power of God concentrate at my disposal. I am a singular manifestation of all that is. And as such, it is my birthright to shine. Yes. I am a perfect creation of the Creator of all. And as such, I am a creator. So it is. And so be it. Yes. So, and talking about that, I was reading this morning. I also get these emails, these incredible intention. It's called Intention for the Highest Good. It's an organization. You can write that down. You can go online. Fantastic. The Intenders for the Highest Good. And they regularly send out emails with an intention or a vision for our world on them. And there's always something on there that we can take in our heart. Just incredible, really good stuff. So if you receive an email from them, then you have the option of aligning with that intention. And here was one that came out recently, and it was entitled, A Vision for Our Identity. So you tell me if you align with this. There's a different one, I get it twice a week, a different one that comes out. It's so good. So this is the one that came out. This is the intention. And I think right now, this intention is so powerful. So we can be in the effects and the chaos of everything around us on this planet that's going on, or we could be the light showers. We can be the ones that stand in the light and hold that light for those who cannot do it at this time. And so it looks like we're doing nothing, but we are in fact spiritual activists. We're spiritual warriors. We're holding that light and that good of the divine where we can in our heart. And this is the intention that was sent out. We see a world where everyone knows that they are more than their name, that they are more than their body, that they are the being, the spirit, the essence that resides within the body. And when the body has completed its journey here on planet Earth, the spirit continues on into forever. We see those who previously identified with their name and their body, having awakened to their new identity, an identity within the larger scheme of things that one carries with them from body to body, lifetime to lifetime, dimensions to dimension, world to world, an identity that takes into consideration our oneness with all and everything, an identity that is perhaps best expressed by the single most empowering word, God. And so just breathe that in. And you can get that email. It's just really lovely. And there's a lot of other affirmations and writings in it. Now, I said earlier that the vast majority of humanity really don't realize who they are, the power that is within us to make conscious decisions that serve our desires, that serve our life purpose, whatever that may be. Mine always was to be a beneficial presence. Had no idea what it meant 15, 20 years ago, but I knew that that's what I wanted to be. And indeed, is that a mighty task to do. It is a joy, and it is needed right now for each and every one of us to be a beneficial presence on our planet. So important. So I want you to know that with that vision in particular, that things are starting to shift in consciousness, planetary consciousness. So for that particular intention, 2,175,000 people are aligned with that vision, because they have a way of counting that. Over 2 million people aligned with it. It's called that critical mass, the 100 monkey theory, where you get to the point where it will be the tipping point in human consciousness. And that's what I believe, and I know a lot of us believe, that we are here for. To hit that critical mass, and we can only do it with our consciousness, with our beliefs, our values, what we are, how we show up in the world. Our sense of identity, our true sense of identity, is the first step in aligning with life. And that's a capital L, life. The divine life. And our sense of identity, our sense of our true identity, it affects every arena of our life. You cannot be filled with peace and joy and not have it affect every single aspect of our lives. It affects our financial affairs, our relationships, our quality of aliveness, our health, our options, our freedom, our fulfillment. And that's just to name a few. That is, when we release and we really get into that alignment with life itself, with God itself, everything changes for the good. And yes, stuff happens in life, because we're always going to have stuff happening to life. You know, things are going to take place, but we're in a different area of capacity to handle those events that take place in our life. And some of them are very, very painful. We acknowledge that pain. We embrace that pain, but we know that there is a greater good always occurring. And I know people that have had major tragedies in their life, super major, it would appear, but they didn't feed into that effect, that tragedy. They rose above it and let it be their teacher, their guide, and they are doing great things on this planet already. Some of them are in this room. I'm getting God bumped. So I know that that's the truth spoken right there. So how do you align with this powerful, amazing truth of who you are? How do we align? Well, here's what not to do. So I'm going to give you a bunch of the not things. Don't get caught up in the conditions. Don't think that we need to figure it out. Hello? Oh! Good luck on that, right? Worry and fret and spin. Talk about how hard things are. I know Pam Grout at our conference addressed that. Take that word hard right out of your vocabulary. It's not hard, but when you think it's hard, it becomes hard. So let's shift that. And so, does anyone have anything else of what not to do? They can yell out.
Don't complain.
Don't complain! Oh my God, that's one. I'm still working on that.
Blog, don't blog.
Don't blog? All right.
Don't judge. No whining.
Don't judge. No whining. Yeah. There's so many things. Go ahead.
Don't limit yourself.
Don't what?
Limit.
Oh, don't limit yourself. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, wise one. I'm 17 years old. Am I right on the age? So advanced. He's a godchild. Sure. So, so if that's how not to align with our power, then how do we align with our power? Really, and this is conscious thinking. We align through our conviction in our thoughts, our feelings, our values, our beliefs, our attitude, our words, our actions, our reactions. We can control those things instead of having them control us. And that is a practice. That is a practice. Religious science founder Dr. Ernest Holmes gives us the formula for developing conviction when he writes this, and I'm going to give you the page because this is really good. In the Science of Mind textbook, page 302. I know most of you have that book. If you don't, it's for sale on the book table. He wrote this, so take this in. All the power of the universe is with you. Feel it, know it, and then act as if it were true. Begin to blot out, one by one, all false beliefs, all ideas that you are limited, poor, and miserable. Refuse to think of failure or to doubt your own power. See only what you wish to experience and look at nothing else. Cannot the great principle of life create for us all that we need? The universe is inexhaustible, he writes. It is limitless, knows no bounds, and has no confines. We are not depending on a reed shaken by the wind, but on the principle of life itself. For all that we have or ever shall need is not some power or a great power. It is all power. And all we have to do is to believe, never wavering, no matter what happens. As we do this, we shall find that things are steadily coming our way, and they are coming without that awful effort, which destroys the peace of mind of the majority of the human race. We know that there can be no failure in God's mind, and this mind is the power on which we are depending. And this mind is our mind. There is one mind, that's God's mind, that's my mind, right here, right now. Use that as your affirmation. There is one source of all good. I use that source to benefit my life, to manifest my desires, to truly live the happiest life that I can live. Make that your intention every day, no matter what's going on. Work on inside of yourself where that power resides. You are a perfect creation of the Creator of all. As such, you are a creative being. That is our nature, to create. We create our lives through our thoughts, our beliefs, our values, all of those beautiful things, our words, our actions, our reactions. In your consciousness, this is where you do the creating. Do you have conviction, that strong conviction of the goodness of life, of the power of God, of the divine perfection at the core of all things? There is a divine perfection. There is no sickness, no pain, no doubt, no poverty, no limitation in the nature of God itself. This is very clear for us to understand. There can't be, it would oppose itself. It would self-destruct. There is only love, peace, abundance, joy, and all those things sound so good, and you know what? You can create them in your life if you live consciously and connect with that indwelling power that knows this to be the truth. Because what you believe is what you are living. It's what you are living. This mind is your mind. So do you have that conviction when you hear the news? Or what happens in your checkbook? Do you still know? If you balance your checkbook. I kind of rounded out, but I'm a rounder out. I don't like the Anyway, that's not part of the talk. If you want to know what you're doing with your life, look at your calendar and your checkbook. You'll find out real soon.
That's funny.
So, who are you then? The mighty ocean in a drop of water. Isn't that beautiful?
That's cool. It's deep.
A vehicle of concentrated God stuff. The formed expression of the infinite unformed. A singular manifestation of all that is. A point of light in the eternal sun. A perfect creation of the Creator of all. That's who we are. So how do we align with who we are? In the conviction and power and presence of life itself, to truly believe that there is this power for good and living, moving, and having its being as you. It's living, and it's a living force of energy. There is no stagnation in God. I love the fact that I can know that this living, moving entity, creative power that I see as pure energy, this intelligent, within us, and is alive. No stagnation. So having those convictions in our thoughts, our words, our beliefs, our attitudes, our values, our feelings, our actions, and our reactions. And so I have a challenge for each one, if you care to join me this week, and that's to truly live with that passage from Ernest Holmes that I just read. 302. I just read it, and I'm going to read it again. I'm going to read it again, because I'm reading your mind. What was it? Because you know why? Because we're all so advanced that we live in the now. So we don't remember what happened like 10 seconds ago. I'm in the now. So if you forget stuff, and people say you're always forgetting stuff, you just tell them that you live in the now. So Ernest Holmes' statement then starts with the foundational assumption that all the power in the universe is with you. Star Wars, the Force be with you. That was a very metaphysical series of movies. Then it tells you how to align with it. So I'm reading this again. When Ernest Holmes states this: feel it, know it, and then act as if it were true. Begin to blot out one by one all false beliefs, all ideas that you are limited, poor, or miserable. Refuse to think of failure or doubt your own power. See only what you wish to experience and look at nothing else. So breathe that in. Because he goes on to encourage us as to why we can have this conviction and what happens when we do. And this is the continuation. Cannot the great principle of life create for us all that we need? The universe is inexhaustible. It is limitless, knows no bounds and no confines. We are not depending on a reed shaken by the wind, but on the principle of life itself, for all that we have or ever shall need. It is not some power or a great power. It is all power. All we have to do is believe, never wavering, no matter what happens. As we do this, we shall find that things are steadily coming our way, and that they are coming without that awful effort, which destroys the peace of mind of the majority of the human race. And so that, my friends, is your challenge. If we can stay, I was going to print that all up, maybe I'll do it for next week. So come next week if you want to get it. Unless you can look in your book on page 302. So let us deeply embrace that divine life, that power of good that is ours to use. Please, let us use it. Let us recognize that we are beings of the light, that we have been created to use our power, that we're not even aware that we have. But I know that we, each and every one of us, have this divine power for good. And I know it is activated this day and every day. And so it is. And so it is.